Well, because we live in a society where they keep pushing, they keep like forcing people to go to school for longer and longer periods of time. And when you go to school for so long, the problem with that is that you get less and less life experiences because you're basically like reading about life opposed to like living life. Like back in the day, people would be like living life and like working like very early. But now it's like they're saying, oh, like you need at least a high school degree. I mean, even like my parents, like neither of my parents even had a high school degree. They just had to start working right away. But
That's impressive to me.
yeah, but like nowadays it's like they'll be like, well, you need a high school degree and then a diploma. And then they're like, well, now you need to go to college. You gotta get an associate's. No, an associate's not good enough. You need a bachelor's. Now they're saying like the bachelor's not even good enough. You need a master's. It's like, so you're pretty much prolonging the school education for so long that you're not really engaging in life. Like you're not like really, because you're so busy studying and going to school, you're not really experiencing love and relationships because you're just so
Yeah,
busy.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're so busy with your studies, and you don't want to have children, you don't want to have, get married, you don't want to have a serious relationship because you got to study. So you keep pushing everything back. And then if you're busy in school, you obviously are not heading towards like what you are passionate about as far as work is concerned and making money. So you're not working, you're not in like a serious relationship, and you're not really living. You're just kind of like half living when you're in school all the time. And basically people are just maturing so much more slowly because the school system has, it's become this way. And that's why a lot of people, they might look like they're adults, but by the age of they're 21, they still lack a lot of like life experiences. Because there's so much that you learn when you start working and when you start engaging in like real deep intimate relationships with people. And
True.
in school, you're just reading, you're studying, you're taking exams, and your relationships are not really that deep because people are jumping from schools to different schools, and they know that it's temporary. Like even when I went to college, I went to college at Purdue University. I knew that I wasn't going to stay there for the rest of my life. I knew it was only going to be like a 4-year period. So then to not really that every single relationship that you develop in that school is not going to be long term. I mean, the longest it's going to be is 4 years. You're going to eventually have to move on. So then, like, you don't really put your full heart into anything. You don't, all the jobs that you have during that time is not a serious job. All the relationships that you have that time is not a serious relationship because you know that it's just going to end in 4 years. And it's like, but when you're done with school, now you can really plan. Now you can be like, well, when you get in a relationship, now you can be like, well, I can be with you for 10 years, 20 years, or even my whole life. I can have kids with you. When you get a job, now you know that, hey, I could see myself working here for 10 years, 20 years, or my whole life. Like you could plan out how you want your life and then do it. You're not limited by like a 4-year period. And
Yeah.
with those types of decisions, it makes your job and your love life more meaningful because there's no limitation on how far you can take it. And then when you have those types of deep relationships and those types of experiences in employment, it helps you mature and grow. But
True.
a lot of people, they're stuck in college. I mean, you're not really, you can't really mature in college. I mean, you're still in school, you know.
Yeah, and on top of that, your parents want you to put that as a priority. That's what they would want.
Yeah, because they don't
To
know
do
any,
anything else but studying.
they don't know any better. They're just like brainwashed, just like everybody else. Basically the school system is just a way for them to occupy children's time, so then the parents could go to work. You mean, because you think about it,
Yeah.
for me, I got 5 kids, but if there was no such thing as school, then how am I supposed to work? How is my wife supposed to work? The kids are in school, so then we could go work. We can make some money. The kids have something to do. It's like going to daycare or something like that. It just occupies their time. Now, it's not too different, no matter if it's junior high, high school, or college. It's just occupying your time, while the people that are really working and making a difference are engaged in, and making money. And it's a big business. Because there's so many people in school, it supplies like an enormous amount of jobs. I mean, you look at all the professors and teachers and TAs and all the food service people in the schools, and just like the maintenance people and the landscaping. I mean, it's just a whole big business. So basically, you're just like a customer. When you're a student, you're a customer. You're
And
you're paying.
you know what else in college? The books cost like about $200.
Yeah.
Plus, you're not even gonna see all the chapters in. They're gonna skip some chapters.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna buy textbooks. I'm just gonna download the PDFs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big business, man. I mean, think about it. It's like, even to nowadays, modern technology, there's like so many things you can learn on the internet, like YouTube and everything, all these websites, online colleges and all this other stuff. So essentially, it's like, like, imagine if somebody told you, hey, Kang, give me $200,000 and I'll let you go on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's essentially what you're doing. It's like you're paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars for stuff that you can learn for free. But they're not going to really tell you that, because it's a big business. It's like they're feeding off of the money that you're giving them. And they want to encourage everybody to pay, for an education. So it just doesn't make sense, because it's like, okay, pay me, I'm serious, man. Like, there's universities, like Northwestern University. I heard it's like literally like $200,000 a year, like literally. So there's like universities where it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're paying, and then when you get out of the university, what type of job do you get? Like a regular job, like a minimum wage job, and then you're living the rest of your life paying off debt of which, you're never going to be able to pay off. And it's just like it's their secret weapon to basically get people to spend an enormous amount of money, so then by the time you graduate or don't graduate, you're pretty much spending the rest of your life paying that debt away. And then now they got you locked in the system of working just to pay bills. And then you just never really live life, because you're so busy working just to pay bills. So it's a huge, like, to me, these profiting colleges is like a huge conspiracy to just kind of like enslave people. Now, if you got like a bunch of money, like say you're a famous actor, like you're like Tom Hanks or whoever, like Denzel Washington or Will Smith, and you're sending your child off to a college of which you could just pay for in full, and they graduate debt free, worry free. That's one thing. But when you got a poor family that's taking out all these student loans, and then you graduate college with like $400,000 debt, it's just absolutely, it's like it's stupid. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not intelligent. But that's what a lot of people are doing. It's just like they're just making poor decisions and just overspending on an education of which is not truly an education. I mean, you can, with modern technology, there's libraries everywhere where you can rent out books for free. Your YouTube and all this stuff on the internet, you can learn. I mean, there's knowledge everywhere. So you don't really have to overpay for knowledge. But if you got that kind of money and you want to flaunt your degree and you want to show off that you own this certificate and you got that type of money, then that's fine. It's like, you could find a nice watch for like $100, but some people spend literally like $500,000 for a watch. Well, now if they want to do that, then that's fine. And that's the same thing with a college education or like education. And you could get like a really nice, you could learn so much from the internet, which is almost free. Or you could spend like $500,000 or more for an overpriced education.
I think paying for college is worse than buying a pair of Jordans.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because you can pay off those pair of Jordans very quickly. But the college degree, it's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Because you can't get away from that debt. Like, that's the only debt out there where you could never go bankrupt over. It's like, no matter what, that debt's gonna follow you everywhere. But in the real world, when you start working, if you start a business and you take out a loan for a business loan, you could go bankrupt, and then you don't got to pay that loan back. But you can't do the same thing with college loans. So I think a lot of people out there had to be very careful on how they spend their money when they go to college, because they're going to eventually end up having to pay that stuff back. And the parents, they don't really know any better. They just think, they don't want to lose face. They want to be like, oh yeah, my child graduated from this college. They want to be proud. They want to show off that you're educated. That's why this whole thing's going on. And another thing is a lot of times parents, they don't really have a purpose in their life. So then what they do is they'll be like, I have all this money that I've saved and I don't know what to do with it. So why don't I just send my kid off to college? But what would be smarter is be like, hey, I got all this money. Why don't I help my child start his own business with this money? You understand? Like, that would be smarter. Or I got all this money. Why don't I buy a home and let my child live in this home, so then he doesn't have to worry about paying rent, and then he could get a job, and then he could just spend, get a job to save money to spend it on what he wants to spend it on. I mean, there's smarter ways to invest your money for your children. You know what I'm saying? Or you could just be like, well, I got all this money, maybe I'll just save it, and then when I die, then my child could inherit it, and then he could choose what he wants to do with the money. But what I recommend is to basically have the child, if he really wants to go to college, then he's gonna have to pay that on his own. Because as a parent, to me, that's not a good investment. Like everything that I'm doing right now, I could have done without a college degree. I really could have. But it's just, it's up to the people, to make the right decisions for themselves and what they think. But the colleges are just getting more and more. It's just getting it's getting out of hand. Because back then, I think I was paying maybe like 50 a year, maybe, or 30, something around there. But now it's just like, it's really, really, it's outrageous, the how much money it costs.
See, my